call from the UK. Now, Adam, y'all were just ROH. They had their event at Center Stage in Atlanta not too long ago for WrestleMania weekend. I heard through the grapevine you're a big fan of Shawn Michaels. Is that true?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Huge fan.
Did you get to catch the Hall of Fame, or did you have to watch it online or Monday night after?
Yeah, unfortunately, with the travel arrangements, I wanted to try to find a way to where I could actually go to the Hall of Fame to see Shawn's speech, because he's been such an inspiration for me throughout my career as far as kind of who I pattern myself after. And he's always been a guy who has never settled for anything less than number one, and he's always been so driven. And I honestly have never seen a bad Shawn Michaels match. And if someone has a bad Shawn Michaels match, please send it to me on my Facebook or anything, just so I can sleep at night. Because as far as I'm concerned now, the guy's perfect, so it drives me insane. But no, Shawn is. I ended up catching the Hall of Fame later on that Monday night when it was like super cut down. So I'll have to wait for the DVD to come out to get the actual Hall of Fame speech, because I was disappointed. I wanted to hear more of what he had to say. But yeah, I don't need to get on here and talk about how great Shawn is, because everyone already knows. But yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get to go to the Hall of Fame. That would have been like the perfect weekend if I would have got to see Shawn get inducted into the Hall of Fame. That would have been pretty cool. But it is depressing to know that the dream of me ever getting to wrestle Shawn seems to be squashed. But oh well, I guess you never say never in pro wrestling.
That's right. One more match. That's all they need to start chanting, and people seem to forget all. He'll come out of retirement to wrestle indie wrestler Adam Cole. It'll be great. And you never know. Somebody could throw some water on the soccer there, and they might need an 8th competitor for the Super 8 tournament. It could happen.
That's true. And old HBK could make the call.
There you go. I think it happened. Demetrius knows a guy, so he can make that happen. But jumping back even further now, you're from Panama City. Were you in attendance for the very last Nitro?
I was not. And actually, at that point, I grew up in Panama City and then moved up to Philadelphia, during the beginning of middle school and then off to high school. And I actually got into wrestling, too, super late. I got into wrestling when I was 10 years old, at WrestleMania 15. And then I only really, religiously started following it, in 2001 at WrestleMania 17. And even still then, I was just such, a diehard WWF fan, all the way through. But, no, I did not get to attend it. But I've seen the Nitro a million times, but didn't get to attend it.
Okay. What about that WrestleMania that kind of switched things for you? They became a hardcore fan.
Yeah, sure. Well, like I said, I watched WrestleMania 15 and Steve Austin, The Rock, and I was just such a huge Steve Austin fan, and totally into wrestling. But I guess it never really entered my mind that it was something that I would want to do. I would joke around about it, oh yeah, I want to be Stone Cold, and I shaved my head and stuff, and wanted to be Steve Austin, but it was just a kid, with a dream. But actually, at WrestleMania 17, I'll never forget the moment. It's an exact moment, too, is people would always talk to me about how they would get goosebumps when they were moved by something. If they would listen to music, or if they would see a scene in a movie or watch theater, they would get goosebumps shot up their spine when a really cool scene happened that moved them in some way. And I never really understood what they were talking about. I just thought they were crazy. And but anyway, the big hype video for Steve Austin and The Rock, 2 at WrestleMania 17, and the really awesome music video My Way by Limp Bizkit. I was so excited for it. And that moment when Howard Finkel got on the mic and said, this match is for the WWF Championship, there's no disqualification, and JR's no disqualification, what's this all about? And then there's that second of silence, and then the glass breaks, and 67,000 people like rose from their seats at the exact same time. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it, but I had goosebumps completely shoot up my spine, and like the hair on the back of my neck stood up, and I had never experienced that before. And at that very moment, I was like, I need to be a part of this. Like, I need to do this, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get involved. So, like, at that very moment, I decided that I need to figure out how to become a professional wrestler because I want to get that feeling again. So, yeah, that's pretty much the story.
Okay. Now take us to your first match, because I believe you started, 3 years ago?
Yeah. My first match was April 6th, 2008, and I was fortunate enough to have my first match actually in the ECW arena in Philly, which was really cool. And it was a small charity show, and it was actually a battle royal. Like, I had been training for 3 or 4 months at this point, and I didn't have any gear. Like, I borrowed someone's tights and I borrowed someone's kick pads. And I went and did the battle royal, but I was just a complete bundle of nerves, just an absolute mess. And I mean, now knowing what I know now, a battle royal is literally punch, kick, choke, throw a guy over the top. It's like the easiest match ever, but I was still just absolutely terrified. And but no, just such a cool moment for me, because I remember, even at that point, being a kid, I was still in high school, and being a kid who just grew up wanting to be a wrestler so bad and just get into a ring and just experience that, getting to experience it and getting to do it in the ECW arena was just such a cool moment, and I'll always hold it near and dear to my heart, as they say. But yeah, just an absolute mess. Just, I wanted to throw up and crap my pants at the same time.
Does it seem to you? I know for me, as I've seen you come through the ROH, especially, does it seem to have come overnight, or do you feel, the 3 years there? Because to me, it seems like you've just blown up out of nowhere. Although you've been around for a couple of years now.
Yeah, I definitely feel like this has been coming really, really fast. But at the same time, lots of times, things won't register to me until a couple weeks later. I remember when me and Kyle O'Reilly wrestled the All Night Express at Final Battle on iPay-per-view in the Manhattan Center, and
right.
that event didn't I didn't believe that it actually happened till a couple weeks after it happened, because for me lately anyway, there's never been an off weekend. Every weekend is make or break kind of weekends for me. Whether it be in CZW or with the Super 8 coming up, or in Ring of Honor, or going overseas, these are all really big experiences. So it's the second that one huge weekend is done, I have to get ready for the next weekend. And I had that time off the week after because it was Christmas weekend, and then it really hit me. I was oh wow, I just wrestled in the Manhattan Center on iPay-per-view for Ring of Honor. So yeah, I mean, there are certain times when I'm thinking man, this is coming to me so fast, and this is so crazy. But at the same time too, I don't want to discredit how hard I really have worked in these past 3 years. There's never been a moment for me where I said to myself, okay, I want to be a pro wrestler, but I don't want to work that hard. I've always 100% put everything that I can into this, and done whatever I could to get booked everywhere that I can, and just keep getting better. So to me, this is just proof that if you really believe in yourself, and if you really institute that hard work and that determination mindset, that great things will come. Because I've just decided right when I started that there are so many guys who want to be pro wrestlers. So what sets the difference between me and everybody else? And I said to myself, I have to work harder than everybody. And that's why that I've gotten the opportunities that I've had, because I've really worked hard and did all that I can to improve, and listened to guys like Christopher Daniels and the guys who have been all over the world and proven that they are outstanding pro wrestlers. So as long as you're like a sponge and you just absorb everything that you can and just are happy to be there, great things will happen. Great things will happen for you.
Man, that is some knowledge you're dropping right there. for those, I guess, inspiring. But we talk about your young career here. I don't know if it's Final Battle or a different one, but what has been your moment thus far in professional wrestling for you?
Oh, that's a great question. You know, I want to say up until the WrestleMania weekend shows, it would have been Final Battle, in the sense of that match for us was kind of like, okay, Ring of Honor saying, okay, here's your chance to show that you guys could be an elite team here in ROH, and we're going to give you the ball, and here's your opportunity. And that was a really big moment for us, just that the fans took us in like they did, and they seemed to really enjoy the match, and Ring of Honor was really happy. So that was a cool moment. But I think really our true test was WrestleMania weekend with we had the Briscoe brothers night 1 and the Kings of Wrestling night 2, who arguably are the two best tag teams in the world, period, right now. And that was kind of our chance to see if we could hang with them. And again, you know, both nights the fans seemed very happy. Ring of Honor seemed happy, and me and Kyle were pleased with everything. So I think for me, WrestleMania weekend was kind of our true test, because this wasn't an opening card match where it was like, okay, let's see what you can do. This was us against two of the very best teams in Ring of Honor, you know, possibly of all time in ROH. So, yeah, I would probably say WrestleMania weekend for me and Kyle, just to prove that we're ready to, you know, take our career as a tag team to the next step and show that we're here in Ring of Honor to stay.
Absolutely. And we're not going to hold you too much longer because we know you've got, you know, big things are popping here. But you spoke about Mr. Kyle O'Reilly.